This is Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.
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 Hello, my name is Kimberly Nwachukwu. I'm the host of Hard Facts, and I bring you the biggest stories driving conversation every weekday here on 95.1 Nigeria Info Hard Fact Show. I love to get your opinion and conjectures, but the facts you cannot dispute here on Hard Facts. Join me and let's talk.
Nothing breaks the news like the news. Trust me, I can prove it. I do it every morning on Morning Crossfire from 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Nigeria Info 95.1, and I'm Femi D. Amede. Join the biggest conversation around the national politics every day in a way that is trustworthy, full of passion, and yes, covers the biggest politics and the stories that matter to you. See, you have all the reasons to find out what's going on in Nigeria and be engaged differently. Let's talk. That's the way to go, even this morning.
Give yourself.
It's weird how people look at me when I say, oh, Monday's my favorite day in the week. They're like, are you normal? Are you okay? But I'm like, yeah. I mean, it's important to be intentional in terms of starting the week, wherein you're ready to win. And if you make any mistakes or you lose, you learn from those mistakes and you just, move on with life and have a good time.
All right, then. So all the back and forth, it means we both love Mondays.
Yay.
And I hope you're one of those people. So welcome to the show. You've been having a great time. You are listening from the Morning Crossfire show to what's happening in Abuja and the Sunnyside show that just ended. Well, it's time for Hard Facts. It gets intense. We find a way to make it light. We look at some of the big stories driving conversation in Nigeria. And we get on to another very incredible topical conversation. It'll be great today. I am the Oracle, the digital Oracle, the fellow OTF, Madam Speaker. I will mention my name last because once I say I'm Kim, Itodo jumps in. So I have to go with the title before the names comes in. So my name is Kimberly Nwachukwu. Call me Kim.
Hello, Kim.
Uh-huh.
My name is Itodo, and you look extra today. I love the blouse. It's looking very...
Look at you. Picked
Very
up
fancy.
flattery from LFEZ and the likes in the studio. Thank you. You're very kind. Thank you very much. And you look nice yourself.
Thank you.
Our guest is here, so don't think it's just the two of us. And yes, we are going live today. If you're on Facebook, we're streaming live the roundtable, the first hour particularly of the show. You can leave your comments on our Facebook page. We'll read as many of them as possible. To help us wade through the big stories of today, we have the director. Why do I always go deputy? Director Publication, Nigerian Pilot, is going to be our analyst on the roundtable today. Mr. Chuks Ohegbe is with us. Mr. Chuks, pardon me, I don't know where this deputy comes from.
Maybe it's a new title
No,
coming.
it's not.
A
The
new
director is above the deputy.
A very good afternoon. Good to be here again.
Good afternoon.
And Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.
It's my first time here this year.
Yes, it is. Good to see you in the studio with us, sir. And yes, I know that Peter Obi is at Chatham House. It feels like if you haven't gone to make a statement somewhere in London or visited some of the top officials in London or done something in London, it just feels as if, are you ready for the election? So everybody needs to go and mark attendance at Chatham House in London to make like that kind of international global statement. He's there, and apparently he's got so much to say.
Absolutely. The whole world is watching. Nigerians are glued to their television stations, and they are following what he's saying. And He's a man who is coming hands-on on the job. He's picking all his questions. He's not delegating anything. And he is, at the end of answering any question, he ends it with that refrain, go and verify. So as we have about 40 days or thereabout to the presidential election, and Nigerians are warming up. If you go to all the stations where they are picking up their PVCs, Nigerians are eager to pick their PVC. They want to participate. Ask yourself, how come we have almost 94 million Nigerians who want to cast their ballots?
Yeah.
They want to decide who is going to lead them at every strata of governance. It is no longer, some of the politicians are using the old textbook, old playbook. We have structures. A is here, every other person will go down. No. Everybody wants to be convinced about what he or she is going to do. And this is the one and only opportunity in 4 years. We are hiring CEO for Nigeria, Chief Executive Officer of Nigeria, who is going to lead this country. So as at the last count, I think there are 4 leading candidates. So Nigerians are now at home. They want to assess. If you're hiring someone, you set the criteria. If the person meets it, you hire the person. If the person doesn't meet it, you look for a better person. This is the time. And by the time we are getting to 25th of February, all being well, Nigerians will go to the polls and decide who will lead them for the next 4 years. That's a constitutional responsibility, and it's a civic responsibility, and every Nigerian is eager to do that.
All right, indeed, we are eager to do that. Talking about being eager, the governor of Anambra State is also eager to have Nnamdi Kanu released for good reasons.
Well, according to him, he's ready to stand surety for Nnamdi Kanu, and he's letting that known to the federal government. Now, Anambra State Governor Professor Chukwuma Soludo has called on the federal government to release the detained leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB. Nnamdi Kanu saying that he is prepared to stand surety for him. Now, Kanu has been in detention at the custody of the DSS since 2021 on allegation of treasonable felony after he was brought back to Nigeria from Kenya. Now, Soludo, who spoke during the kickoff of the campaigns of APGA for this year's elections at the Alex Ekweme Square in Oka, appealed for the release of the IPOB leader. And various quarters have also gone on to, request for his release. Now, Soludo promised to cater for Kanu if released to him, assuring that he will bring him to the authorities anytime he will be required to do so. Now, he's not the first person to stand surety for him, and while he was being looked for at the time, these people who were, who stood surety for him at the time were being called on and requested to point in direction where Nnamdi Kanu was at the time. But right now, saying that Soludo is requesting for his release, and the court has gone on to pardon him, and release him. But then the federal government still has a couple of things against him. What do you think is the way forward with this? Will the federal government go on to believe Soludo and, of course, go on to release him? Or do you think holding him back is the best option at this time?
Thank you very much. If you are from that part of the country, the eastern part of the country, everything is available there now except peace. If you see the next day, you thank goodness. One young man, Ugochi Nyerimo, on Saturday escaped death by the whiskers. They came to his house, razed down the house. Over 25 vehicles were burnt. His uncle was shot at point blank, and he watched his uncle die. 4 other persons paid the price. He only survived by God's grace. That is the level at which Southeast had degenerated to. This is the same guy on 23rd of December. He had the same attack, and he raised the alarm. Nobody did anything. The governor of Imo State, Hope Uzodinma, addressed a press conference yesterday where he admitted to the world that he has security information of Ikenga Ugochinyere and some other fellows over what will happen to Biafra, that Ikenga reneged in the agreement, and that was what. If you have all these, what you call security information, how come you didn't turn it in? How come that he was not invited? How come nobody has been pulled in? How come those who attacked him on the 23rd, no arrests have been made as we speak? That is the level at which Southeast has found itself. Unfortunately, the governors of that zone are not doing much. That is at the root of it. If Soludo has made that pronouncement, that promise that, look, release Nnamdi Kanu to me, I will stand surety for him. Soludo is not an ordinary citizen. Soludo is a sitting state governor. Soludo enjoys immunity. The government can call him and say, this young man will release, this man will release to you. Where is he? Can you produce him? You know why it is necessary to do some of these things? So that there can be peace in that zone for this election to hold in that zone. The government may not have any reason to give to people of the Southeast why election must not, I didn't say will not, must not hold in Southeast. If election holds anywhere in this country, election must hold in all the wards and polling stations in the Southeast. Okay? The government owes it as a responsibility. It's a constitutional right which is vested on the president, and he has to do it. In 2015, we had the same problem. The then President Goodluck Jonathan, had to postpone election by 6 weeks. Check the records in Borno State.
Yeah.
For the terrorists to be pushed back to Niger Republic or Chad. His administration equally had to hire mercenaries to help the Nigerian army to make sure that all those areas were recovered and everybody there who wanted to cast his or her ballot did so. I am saying, now as we speak, not only in the Southeast, you know that some local governments in Niger State here are still under the control.
I mean, as a matter of fact, over the weekend, I was on the show on Sunday, and, a lot of people shared heartbreaking reports of the prisons.
7 or 8 local governments are under the control of Boko Haram in Niger State. So all these areas, it is the same thing in Borno. 1 or 2 local governments is still under their control. Wherever this thing is happening, it is the responsibility of the government at the center, at any level, to make sure that the security, Section 14, Subsection 2B of the Constitution, vests that authority on the government to secure and for the welfare of the governed. So this thing has to be done. If the release of Nnamdi Kanu will be what will bring peace and tranquility in the Southeast, and the sitting governor has come out to say, give him to me, I will stand surety. Can government have a second look at that?
No, beyond the sitting governor and the immunity that he has, a lot of people will tell you the court, an arm of government, and if you're looking at the rule of law, court has established that this man should be granted bail.
And the same government say that they still have some issues and they are yet to file
with him, but
additional processes against him. So are they coming to equity with clean hands? His rendition from Kenya to Nigeria has been declared illegal. Why are they still holding him? So when those who believe in him are up in arms, they have reason to do that. And when you say release this man so that we can have some peace and hold this election, so that the incoming government, whoever wins in the become the next president, can handle it, I think that's fair enough.
You also look at, with all that is going on, I think governor, particularly the Anambra State governor, has been one who's been very vocal as to what the threat is and that it's from within. And from what he said, I mean, a lot of people are quick to try to say this insecurity we're seeing in the southeastern part of the country is directly tied to the incarceration of Nnamdi Kanu, particularly the dimension he's taking at this moment.
That is what escalated it. And from then till now, it has not gone down. So if you know the root cause of a problem, you begin to address it from there. You don't address symptoms. You go to the root cause and address it and get it off there. We are talking about that. What has happened to our humanity in this country? Kim, yesterday morning, a Catholic priest was burnt alive here in Niger State. As we speak, I've checked all the news outlets. Government is here to say anything, except for government is here to say anything. The political parties are yet to say anything. Those who want to take over reins of power. So in Nigeria now, life doesn't matter. This is the same Catholic priest who was the Catholic priest of Catholic Church in Mandala in 2011. Yes. When that church was bombed, the first church bombing we had in this country, that claimed scores of lives. This same Catholic priest was attacked twice by armed robbers. He survived it. And now this is what they couldn't get entrance into his residence. All they did was to set his residence ablaze. In 21st century Nigeria, nobody has apprehended anybody. They operated for 1 hour. There is police, there is army, there is other security agencies, and we are pretending we are still playing the ostrich. We are at a crossroads, and if care is not taken and these things are not handled the way it's supposed to handle, it will get to a point the government may not be able to handle it.
I want to find out your thoughts on this also. If Nnamdi Kanu is released at the moment, do you think he still has that control over the situation in the southeast? Seeing that we already have, is it a commander or a second in command or another faction that is calling for some sort of agitation in the southeastern part of the country, talking about Simon Ekpo? You also want to look at, does he still command that one is just thinking out loud here. If you can still command that level of
I
authority.
beg your pardon. Simon Ekpa is a renegade. When they talk about Nnamdi Kanu, people are talking about bonding, what they believe in. What is the root of cause of all these things? It is injustice, exclusion, non-inclusiveness.
No,
When you-
but we can't take away the place when a vacuum is created and it is hijacked. You start to look at how can you control things from that point on if it's
I'm
been
coming to
intercepted.
that. Because of this vacuum that have been created, splinter groups have come up and some rogue elements have taken over what is going on. So when you catch them, the safe exit is to tell you we are IPOP people or ESCN. But there are some genuine struggle, and the genuine struggle is based on the fact of injustice, inequity, and non-inclusion. So if there is a level playing field for everybody in this country, and when you come out, you are proud to say, I am a Nigerian. Okay? I'm from this country. You don't have anything to worry about. So these are the issues. If the government had to look at this thing as passionately as possible and get a way around it.
Now, what effect would Nnamdi Kanu's release have on the elections? If he's released, what effects? If he's not released, what effects? As well as, the response of IPOP to, Professor Soludo's request, stating that he's done nothing wrong and should not, there was no point for him to persuade the federal government to release Nnamdi Kanu to him.
No, to
based
him
off-
as surety,
surety.
seeing that court has already approved.
Precisely, we are saying the same
thing, yeah.
The people are saying he was renditioned from Kenya to Nigeria, which is illegal. You people have taken him to court. Remember when the Ohanesa leadership went to meet Mr. President, he said, look, I believe in the rule of law. Whatever the law court says, I will abide. Okay? And his case was taken before the court. You know the outcome, the ruling of the court. So the people are saying, Professor Soludo, good thoughts, thank you very much, but this man has no issue before the law. Therefore, he should be asked to go home. The question you have to ask yourself, are there classes of citizens in Nigeria? Before the law, are we equal? If they say they have things against him, well and good. The courts are there. Fight the processes. If you won't fight the processes, let him go.
All right, let's move on to the next story. And this is one that has got quite a lot of people talking for days, months now as to what is the health status of the presidential candidate of the All Progressive Congress, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And apparently that question has gone to the ears of the presidential committee as Festus Keyamo was on TV. The spokesman for the presidential campaign council of the APC, standard bearer, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has said no matter how the controversy surrounding Tinubu's health is being parroted, the APC candidate is fit for presidency. The senior advocate of Nigeria, who appeared on a TV program today, said it was baseless for anyone to ask for the medical report of Tinubu. And he said Tinubu has never collapsed, he's never fallen anywhere before. Therefore, asking for his health status was baseless. And Keyamo also addressed in question concerning the campaign activities of the APC as the presidential election draws closer. So he said no matter how much they repeat it, no matter how much you parrot it, the fact remains that there's no evidence to the contrary that my candidate has some health issues. And I haven't seen anything happen to my candidate. It has not happened to any other candidate. What has happened to him? Has he fainted? Has he collapsed? Nothing has happened to him. So why is it? But then you notice there's also that level of obsession by Nigerians to wanting to know the health status of this particular presidential candidate. Some people have been able to deduce from appearances he's made as to if he walks healthy, if he moves healthy, if he needs support or not. And that's why it was much of a buzz when they said he went to London and people were saying, oh, maybe one of those London trips for medical checkups and the likes of it. And this is born from the fact that we have a president who's been known to frequent London a lot for medical checks and health tourism. Perhaps that is where this concern is coming from, not wanting a repeat of another president who is always jetting off abroad for medical attention.
If you're seeking for a public office as high as the President of Federal Republic of Nigeria, there must be full disclosure.
You owe the people that.
You owe the people. I started in my preliminary remarks, I said that Nigerians are hiring. We want to hire a CEO. So we need to know what is your mental health. What challenges do you have? Can you do this job? Okay? We had similar problem in 2006. In the run-up to the 2007 election. The then president, Obasanjo, brought in the then governor of Katsina State, that's Omar Yar'Adua. Fine gentleman, may God rest his soul. Good for the job. But he was sick, terminally so. And he died in office. You know the problem it caused this country? We can't have the same problem again. Whoever is coming, whether it's Mr. Tinubu or Mr. Atiku or Mr. Pitobi or Mr. Kokwanso, I think these are the 4 leading candidates. We need to know what is your mental health. It's only in this country we don't ask such questions. Do you have a medical history that will challenge you? You know why this is very important? In Nigeria, whoever is going to take over from Mr. Buhari, we have to work 25 hours of the day instead of 24. So you must be up and doing. You'll be a guy who, if there is need for you to hop from Sokoto to Brass, you do that. From Brass, you go to Lagos. From there, you come to Abuja and sleep. The next day, you are up. Because the challenges are
enormous.
As we speak now, there is 77 trillion debts
Hanging over our head, yeah.
It might get to 100 before we get to May. Okay? We no longer want a situation where the president jets out for, God knows, 21 days, 30 days, begin to quarrel. Did he transmit power to his vice or not? Or these are the issues. We are not saying that people cannot get sick or they don't need medical attention.
All right. We need to go on a quick break. We'll take it up after that. Stay with us.
Talk.
My name is Kimberly Nwachukwu. I'm the host of Hard Facts, and I bring you the biggest stories driving conversation every weekday here on 95.1 Nigeria Info Hard Fact Show. I love to get your opinion and conjectures, but the facts you cannot dispute here on Hard Facts. Join me and let's talk.
Nothing breaks the news like the news. Trust me, I can prove it. I do it every morning on Morning Crossfire from 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Nigeria Info 95.1. And I'm Femi D. Amede. Join the biggest conversation around the national politics every day in a way that is trustworthy, full of passion, and yes, covers the biggest politics and the stories that matter to you. See, you have all the reasons to find out what's going on in Nigeria and be engaged differently. Let's talk. That's the way to go, even this morning.
We're talking about
This is Nigeria Info.
full disclosure.
There must be full disclosure. Nigerians deserve the right to know who is coming, who they are hiring, okay? Because the challenges are enormous. Is it the economy you're talking about? Is it security you're talking about? Is it educational subsector? You just have to be a guy who they can say, yeah, we can do business with this man. He can lead us. You know the problem of this country? It's not the people. The people are willing to work. The problem is poor leadership. Once we get our leadership right, at every level, things will begin to work.
Now, we know if you're interviewing for a job and you get to a stage, you're asked to bring your health status and your health report, and you fail to do that, you risk losing that job. But on the flip side, looking at Asiwaju's case right here, and the fact that Nigerians, or some Nigerians, are requesting for his health status. They want to see his health report and see if he's capable of handling the pressure that comes with being president of Nigeria if he eventually wins, right? Does this in any way pose a risk to him emerging if he refuses based off the request that's on ground rather for him to make all of this public?
Okay. The thing is, you know, Nigeria, we are traditional voters. It's just that this new development that is turning things around. Why did I say we are traditional voters? Nigerians will vote along ethnic lines. They will vote along religious lines. But this new development, thank God to technology, the youth, the awareness, is cut across the board. And people are no longer, majority of them are no longer looking at those criteria of ethnicity and religion. They are now saying, what will set this country free? Because it is in the freedom of this country that all of them is going to be free. I'm a Christian. The Bible tells you that pray for the peace of Jerusalem, because in the peace of Jerusalem, you have your own peace. Okay? That is what is happening. So Nigerians want to know They have seen the campaigns go on for the past 3-4 months. They have seen the presidential candidates, all of them, the 4 leading presidential candidates. They've seen their performances. You have heard gaffes that, I mean, you shuddered. Is this possible? And in the end, when these persons, you don't come to the public and they will tell you that, look, it is not one-man presidency. That presidency is a body of persons.
Yeah.
You delegate and all. Yes, we know. It's when you win the presidency that you begin to delegate. But until you become that, you are the person we see. We want to ask you those vital questions so that you'll be able now to tell us this is how we are going. Like this afternoon as I was coming in, I was following on my gadget the interaction at the Chatham House. That's P2B there of Labour Party. All questions, everything. That was by him. He's already made. But no questions to Dati. He says, I am the person you are going to hire. Hold me responsible. That's what Nigerians want. We don't want a delegated authority that A did this one or B did this one. Because where Nigeria is now, Nigeria is at the cliff. And any ordinary nudge, the country will go down.
But not
the
everyone will agree with you on that. Some will say you need a team to work with. It takes beyond
Precisely
one strong
what
man
I said,
to
but
do
before you
the
set
job.
up that team, you are the person we are handing over our sovereignty to. That is what the election is all about. When you get in there, but we are saying that even before you get in there, we need to know certain things about you so that we'll be able to pigeonhole, this is where he is, this is how he's going to do this. When you get in, no one person can run the presidency. Can one person do that? It's not possible. So when you get in there, you're going to hire ministers, special assistants, whatever, all of them, they're going to come in to help you to run the government.
Now, looking at the requirements for public office or to contest for public office, should there be like setting policies in place, setting rules in place wherein you're required to bring XYZ, case in point, your health status, while you also submit other documentation to ensure that you are capable of holding?
The Constitution does not provide for that.
There are lapses in the 1999 Constitution as amended. It's always been there. You know, when we had the problem when Yaradua died in 2010, the Constitution did not envisage that a sitting president would die in office. So they had to amend the Constitution quickly to bring Section 145 that has to do with doctrine of necessity. That was how the power was now transmitted to Jonathan. Okay? Back to your question, which is, are there lapses? Yes, because the drafters of the Constitution did not think that we will come to a point where someone's health, an office seeker's health, will become mandatory. So, and you ask, what is the educational background of most of the people who are in the National Assembly? And the Constitution says that if you have school certificate or attempted school certificate, that qualifies you. In Nigeria today, if you have your school certificate and you get in there, what manner of legislation are you going to bring to the table? So these are the things, and I know with time, the Constitution is not a one-off thing. With time, there's room for amendment. Every 4 years, they budget some money for that. But the thing that they've turned into a jamboree. They do that every 4 years, they sit down, and the money is shared, and everybody goes to his home. So more persons, consciousness is coming in.
Yeah.
Fiscal responsibility is coming in. When you have the right leadership, you'll be able to bring in some executive bills. National Assembly, can you look at this? And some persons who are going to come in 2023, I want to believe that with all we have suffered, they are coming with their heads on, and they want to come there to make a difference. It is not one person's business. It's not the president's only business. It's not the National Assembly's only business. Even the state assemblies, because when you do all these amendments, it has to go to the state assemblies. So the governors have to come in. The state assemblies have to come in for them to, because you need 2/3 endorsement for the thing to be whatever they do to become law. So it's a gamut, it's a big cycle that everybody will have a buy-in for a better Nigeria. But we've passed through a lot in this country in the past 7-8 years that next time we have an opportunity, I know God is going to give us that opportunity. Every Nigerian, all hands will be on deck to make this country great.
All right, just before we move on to the third story, let's quickly look at some comment. Don't forget, we're on Facebook Live. You can leave your thoughts with us on Facebook portal. Sarah Hope from Lugbe says, good afternoon, Kim and the guests. Why we look forward to the general election is important to keep the burning issues at the fore. This is, I guess, the backdrop of the BB Titan show that aired yesterday. All right, concerned about something else. Nigerians must not allow, what does this mean to succeed? Say no to, all right. Okay.
All right, looking at this one right here from Charles in Kuba, it says, I suppose the primary objective of a good leader is to protect lives and properties because these are the factors responsible for economic growth. If citizens are being killed or kidnapped and properties are being destroyed, what will then be the effect of a leader? It baffles me that no one is accountable for the loss of lives and properties and no apologies from the leadership. No information on what is being done. It's very obvious now that the safety of every Nigerian is in their own hands. All we are hearing now is campaign promises that may never come to light. We need a president that will be sensitive to the plight of the people. The question is, how do we know and get such a person? All right, moving on to more messages right here. I want to use the platform to inform all residents of local Goma from FAB, Penn City, Sunnyvale, and Sun City. I said to go pick up their PVC at the Galadimawa Primary School. I went there and I picked mine. Thank you so much for this information, Ben, in local Goma. All right, this says, I would like to disagree with your guest a little because he seems to be speaking like Nnamdi Kanu only Nnamdi Kanu has the magic wand to cure the madness going on in the Southeast. That's not true. No self-determination agitation has ever degenerated into killing of indigents. What is happening in the Southeast is beyond mere agitation. There's brazen acts of criminality that even the release of Nnamdi Kanu can end it. The monster he created has grown bigger than him, and it would swallow him whole if it tries to end it. It can only end when the leaders and rulers of Southeast come together to speak to their youths to end the madness. Charles Mbat.
All right, let's look at the next story just before we continue. And when we were talking about the intensity of what the responsibility and the job cut out for the next president, governors, House of Rep members, and the likes of that is when they get into office in 2023. And yes, quite a number of people are conscious of that. Is saying you need to hit the ground running. No time for dilly-dallying or asking, Nigerians, patience. The last government was corrupt. They depleted our account. We don't have a nickel and stuff like that. We heard quite a lot. But there's a lot because, we're looking at mounting debt. You did mention what the debt profile is. If we add the ways and means to what we have already, 77 or 73 trillion, just staring us in the face already. There's a fuel scarcity situation that you just need to rip the bandage, in which quite a number of people might be vexed with whoever comes in to make that call at the end of the day because of, the attendant issues, ripple effect it will come up with. So it feels like there's just a whole lot. From the security concerns, north, south, east, west, any corner of Nigeria you turn to, there's a peculiar security challenge they're grappling with. The economy is not doing pretty at the moment. And I know a lot of people say, it's a global situation. Look at inflation in Ghana. Look at what's happening in the UK. But you understand ours and know how it affects Nigeria, seeing that we still have the critical mass of the population in that poverty bracket. So there's that aspect to deal with. And, there's just a whole lot, actually, that whoever comes into office, you're positive that in the first 100 days, they would not sink. They'll be able to swim through all of this. Because there's a sink or swim situation for whoever comes into office at the end of the day.
Precisely why I say that whoever is coming in must come with a clear head. You must come in prepared. It's not a one-off, a solution you just bring one solution here to solve every problem. Nigerians are still going to go through the process, and all they are looking for is who understands what this problem is. Are you coming with a team that will be able to address it so that piecemeal, first 3 months, this is where we are. 6 months, this is where we are. As I was driving into your studio now, a thought occurred to me. Who built this Abuja? How did they do it? Incidentally, it was built by the military. How did they do it? It's all about management. It's all about being focused. How come from 1999 to now, 24 years or thereabout, nothing much has been done? So what is the problem? From year 1 to year 23? You can't even quantify it. And when you go to the suburbs, you see very many youths, in the morning, they don't get what to do. And that's the reason why you have all this insecurity and all these problems. If there has been concerted effort at reviving our industries so that in the morning, these young people can get fully engaged, so that they can no longer sit at home. They say, I don't mind is devil's workshop and begin to manipulate the system. So that they can't be Yahoo boys. So that thing they do in Yahoo, they can begin to manufacture wristwatches. They can do certain things. So that places like Aba and Port Harcourt will go back to become business hubs. The same thing with Lagos. The same thing with Kanu. In those days, people in those places like Kanu, they don't come down this way that much because they were properly engaged. The textile industries were there. The cotton belt was there. The arable lands in northern Nigeria, nobody is cultivated. Much of it is not cultivated now. Why? They can't go to the farms. They can't access their farms. Insecurity. So these are the issues. Whoever is coming, the first thing you have to address is insecurity. Because once the people are secured, they can go back to the farm. They can do whatever. They can earn a living. The money is worth it. Then you talk about the economy. What is the worth of your naira? So far we are a consuming nation, the naira will continue to spiral. So our crude, what are we doing with it? You go to the Niger Delta. These artisanal miners, can't they be brought together and they begin to do something tangible and we export? That will get people engaged. But you see that the pipes are being tampered with illegally, and they say it has happened for 7 years. Under whose watch? I mean, at a time we were exporting 2.1 million barrels of crude. Unfortunately, at a time it fell to as low as 800,000, 900,000. This is the mainstay of our economy. These are the issues we are talking about. Nobody is against any person. Nigerians are jolly good persons. Whether if you have ever left this country and meet a fellow Nigerian, he doesn't ask you where you come from. The person is so happy, he will embrace you. Oh, my brother or my sister. You become, he or she will help you as much as the person can. But once we enter here, religion will come in, tribe will come in, and that goes back to our first national anthem. Though tribe and tongue may differ, in brotherhood we stand. That brotherhood is no longer there. So tribe and tongue now differ, and it determines what you get, how far you go, and what comes to you. It shouldn't be so. All of them boil down to the same problem: leadership.
Leadership. And talking about leadership, 4 years, would it be enough to salvage to a certain degree the situation?
Let us start. Get the right leader. You see, Nigerian problem is not insurmountable. Get the right person to be the president of this country. Let the person lead by example. And you see how Nigerians will queue behind that person, and all these things we think are impossible, they become possible.
But by right leader, what criteria are we looking at here?
A leader that has capacity, a leader that is humanist, a leader that knows what the problems of this country is, a leader that is intelligent, a leader that is physically fit. These are the things, some of the criteria that will make up who is going to be the president of this country. We cannot miss it this time. If we miss it this time, well, God will help us.
Now, in getting the right leader in court for Nigeria to take us out from where we are right now, we've seen the contenders' manifestos, right? And of course, it'll be important to understand how they plan to achieve all of the promises, because Nigerians have had promises over years. And when, these things, when these people get into power, these promises take a very long time, if at all they even get fulfilled. How can we ensure that based off these manifestos, we get to understand how these people plan to achieve all of these promises that they have dished out to us?
Thank God the manifestos are there. Hold them accountable. But you don't hold a man accountable when the man doesn't have the right qualities to lead you. Look at how people put their hands in our common till, the commonwealth of this nation, and still brazenly 109 billion naira. One person made away with it. Lecturers are there. Have you gone to Nigerian universities, public universities of late? I don't know when you left the university. You'll be ashamed. Most of Nigerian universities are not what called universities. There are no research grants. The ones that come are so minimal that it won't go round. We are still talking whether they strike, whether they'll go back to strike or not. And any country does not place premium on its youth and education, the country is heading for perdition. That is where Nigeria is. Okay? What we have now is the longest serving education minister. Let him tell you what his achievements are. These are the issues we are talking about. We must have to, the new leadership must have to prioritize where they want Nigeria to be and how Nigeria will get there. And there are key areas. Health. Why are they always run out of this country when they have headache? Why is it that our hospitals are not working? Why is it that our medical doctors are on the move to leave this country. Education, okay? These are critical areas. Then we'll talk about infrastructure. And when you bring the infrastructure, you have to maintain it. How do you maintain it? People should be held accountable. There should be no sacred cows anywhere. And this thing starts from the man who is at the top. If you are good, the fish begins to decay from the head. Once you are good, people will look up to you and they will take cue. If my president rides in Innocent, for instance, that is his official vehicle, no minister, no commissioner, no governor who is coming to see him will ride in any vehicle that is higher than that. That is where the culture begins. If you go to Delhi, India, all of them, you stand there, you count 1,000 vehicles. The same brand, Tata, India made. What happened to Ster? What happened to Volkswagen? What happened to the one produced by Proda in Enugu? What happened to Ster? These are homemade products that we would have encouraged so that Nigeria, all these things we spend, in Nigeria today, when you come out, they look at the kind of car. Okay, can we relate? I beg. Yes. So all these status symbols, they will not take us anywhere until and when we begin to reassess why we are Nigerians and what will take us to the next place. Because we shouldn't be talking about ourselves now. We should be talking about the generation next. Fortunately enough, the demographics of the figures INEC release, over 70% of them are youths and women. And they will determine who will lead this country. I want to believe that.
All right, then. Let's open up the phone lines. Let's get your thoughts in. We've shared 3 stories with you. Soludo to president, releasing Nnamdi Kanu to Miaobi Surety. Keyamo says there's no reason to reveal Tinubu's health status and the mounting debt, fuel scarcity crisis, make a burden for new government. How would they surmount the hurdle? That's a big question. So call us up on 0700 951 0000 or 0809 9930-137. You can also reach us via our social media platform at Twitter. We are at Nigeria Info ABJ. Instagram is at Nigeria Info FM Abuja. Facebook, Nigeria Info Abuja. And on YouTube, where we're streaming live also, Nigeria Info Abuja. Feel free to call us.
Good afternoon. Hello. Hello.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes. Good afternoon to all the guests in the studio. May God bless all of you for your insight analysis. My name is Obedient Taylor calling from Abuja.
Go ahead.
Yes. On the statement of Festus Keyamo. You see, Festus Keyamo, as far as I'm concerned, is a political jobber. He's just trying to reap, quickly from Bola Ahmed Tinubu when he knows quite well that this man's health status is in doubt. His educational qualifications is in doubt. His real age is in doubt. So everything surrounding Bola Tinubu is subject to fraudulent.
All right, you need to accept you can establish without reasonable doubt all of this. You can't use the word fraudulent. Yes, I know that a lot of stories and reports questioning quite a lot of the things that you have mentioned, but let's not be quick to call it fraudulent. Please do not.
Lastly, King. Now, I hope you just listen to what Tunde Bakari said about Bola Ahmed Tinubu, that who killed Funcho Williams in 2003 in Lagos. Look, that man is a dictator. Nigerians should beware.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much. We appreciate your thought. Let's hear another caller. Hello.
The digital oracle.
I greet you, sir. Welcome.
Kim and Itodo Nagesheka. And I greet our guest. My name is Salasi. I want to appreciate you for your wonderful analysis. Most especially what you talk about, a credible leader. A leader that will stand and ask some question. A leader that will grant interview to the media houses. A leader that if they ask question, he will stand by himself and ask some question, not sharing question like Akara to people to be answering. No, we want a leader that will come and say, hold me responsible. We want a leader that will say, I won't travel for medical trip. We want a leader like Lee Kuan Yew of Singapore. We want a leader like Dr. Nelson Mandela of blessed memory. Come to the issue of Bible, we need leader like Joseph. We need leader like Daniel that have the masses at heart. That is the type of leader. Just imagine what happened to that Catholic priest. We were on Sunday when we called somebody, a call was coming to Kimberly about this man. He escaped Mandela, St. Teresa but he was attacked and he was burned in his own residence. This is not the type of leader we want. This is not a natural disaster. We are talking of man-made. This is no tsunami. Earthquake. It's something that they can be able to curtail. May God give us that leader. Thank you, and God bless Nigeria Info.
Thank you very much, Salasi.
Hello? Can you move away from your radio, please?
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes, my name is Hola. I'm calling from Lugbe.
Go ahead, Ola.
Yeah, I think I'm going to disagree a bit with your guests in the studio on what they said about the issue concerning the release of Nnamdi Kanu. Fine, many of us in the 10,000 have actually kicked against the way Nnamdi Kanu and his group have been treated in this country. You know, most especially when it comes to this issue of double-sidedness, you know, the sitting government will treat Boko Haram in a way, but treat other agitators in different ways. You know, we have always kicked against that in the 10,000. But when it comes to what your guest said about you know, marginalization, more inclusivity, and you know, marginalization generally, you know, being the cause of people taking up against the country. No, I disagree with that. No, we are talking about the issue of marginalization. Every part of this country is marginalized. In fact, every Nigerian is marginalized. So if you want to act on marginalization to take up against the country, then every Nigerian will take up against the government at the center. So we're not going to do that. So with regard to the election, sorry, please. As far as this election is concerned, it's going to go on. Let all the stakeholders in the Southeast come together and ensure that, look, whoever is behind all this carnage, you know, is called to order. If they don't do that, the election has to go on, and whoever is going to be left behind is going to be left behind. It's as simple as that. Thank you very much.
All right,
thank you.
Hello.
Hello, Kim. Good afternoon, Kim.
Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon to Master Itodo and our guests.
Good afternoon.
My name is Olajide. I'm calling from Wuse Sonsi. First thing first, Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu has gotten 4 votes from my family. Let it be known to everybody. Secondly, the way everybody is on Tinubu head, this man has traveled, has moved more than any other candidate. From January 1st, 2022 till date.
You can't say more than all candidates because you can't even prove the travel distance, mileage.
Okay, let's forget about whether it's bed. The man has no one day sleep on bed. Have you ever seen this man lying on bed one day? Since January 1st, 2022 till date. Secondly, have they interrogated the head of Peter Obi? Have they interrogated the head of Atiku and others? And there's no anybody that say, okay, can bring out a head certificate and say, Tinubu is having this kind of challenge. Nobody has ever come out with it. And if anybody sees having a challenge, let that person come out with certified doctor's report that is having this kind of challenge. All this thing is just, it doesn't hold water. If the man dies on seat, there's another person to replace him. We are over 200 million people. My vote and my family for this man. God bless Nigeria. God bless Nigeria.
Thank you very much, Olajide, for that.
Hello.
Hello, good afternoon, Itodo.
Good afternoon to you.
Kim and our guest.
You're welcome.
My name is Mike when wind blows.
Yeah, good afternoon.
For me, if you ask me, in terms of leadership, a leader is somebody who takes a step and others are willingly ready to follow without being coerced, manipulated, and all of that. How do I mean in this case? In the Nigerian context as it is, if you ask me, I would prefer somebody who, whatever it is, as they're all struggling, saying all manner of things now to come and occupy our public space, whatever it is they're providing therein, let them patronize it, let them be even the first to savour the taste of that thing. I keep saying it like a cook. We're hiring someone who hires a cook, and the cook prepares a meal from the beginning to the end and never savour the taste of that meal. Who among us will eat it? I don't know who among us will eat that such meal or continue to engage in services of such a cook. But that is what we see our public office holders doing. They will come and do everything, even beyond their powers to get into public office. But whatever it is, just like we're saying, there is no public office holder. Like you told, I don't know. You just came into Nigeria info recently. Did they not ask for your medical, whatever? Hello?
It's a rhetorical question. He pleads the fifth.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So both I don't know of private, that's what I'm asking him. But in public, all public offices in Nigeria, both federal, local government, and state, you must produce your medical whatever before you can get any employment. I don't know how some people who even are also who have done these things and say, oh no, we can't ask for the medical report of somebody who is coming to occupy number one seat. I don't know where people are coming from.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thanks for your thoughts. Hello.
The newcomer.
Good afternoon to you.
Happy New Year. I hear somebody call you, Mr. Francis Itodo. See, the king.
Yeah, that's his name, Itodo. Good afternoon.
Happy New Year, our guest.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
My name is Alex. I'm one of the.
Adewumi, so sorry, the connection is really poor. It's rusty. Can barely make out what you're saying. So please call back. Thank you very much. Let's hear someone else.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Itodo. Good afternoon, Digital Oroku. Good afternoon. I guess my name is Abubakar Kwalim from Gwagwalada. The issue at hand concerning the situation, insecurity situation in Southeast, demand political solution. Since the governor of Anambra has offered himself a surety, the government should welcome such initiative. Before election, Nnamdi Kanu should be released. But those unknown government should drop their arms. It is not doing anybody good. Terrorizing your own people, killing your own people, destroying the business potential of Southeast. People of Southeast are not known for violence and aggression. So it's about political solution. It has happened before. Zamani Lockwood was handed death sentence. He was later given clemency by former President Babangida. It happened several people of note in the past. So it's political solution. And concerning talking of, you can't condemn entire ruling class. We have the good, the bad, and the ugly among our ruling class. And a single person has no answer to Nigeria woes. That is why we are looking for government of national unity. I would like the case where we go for second round, even Obi, Kiku, Konkoso, and all other opposition people must work together. Yes, that is my.
All right,
take.
sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I will still take a few more thoughts just before we go for the news break. Let's hear from this caller who's been waiting.
Good afternoon. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, Kim. This is Engineer Ola calling from Azokoro.
All right, Engineer Ola, you're welcome. Hello, Engineer Ola.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Go ahead.
Talking about the health of the candidate, this is where Nigerian comes in. If you have a question about the candidate, you have many options. Many options. You understand? So that is why me as a person, I don't like even talking about that particular candidate. Because there are other vibrant candidates who are more qualified than this person that we keep talking about his health. So that is where Nigerians comes in. But I know that on the other hand, Nigerians are also about our electoral our elections, the way it normally goes. So the Nigerians are concerned. So I believe that is one of the reasons why they were asking questions and all of that. But for me, I don't like to have that particular candidate because there are other qualified more candidates than this person that we keep talking about his health. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very, very much. I know that we're live on Facebook, or some people say they can't get us there. Have you gone to our Facebook page and you can see the live stream?
Maybe YouTube as well. YouTube is live right now as well, so you can check that out.
So check YouTube, and it's Nigeria Info Abuja on YouTube, and follow the conversation there. Let's hear this caller, and then we'll go on a quick break.
Good afternoon.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Thank you, my dear sister. I greet you the last one for now, Kim and Itodo.
Good afternoon
welcome to the family and our guests. I say once again, Happy New Year to all good Nigerians. The country will be great again. The guests, I want to ask you a question, sir. I know you are a senior journalist. Do you agree with me that you people put us into this problem with judiciary? Maybe you ask me why, sir. Why do I say that? In 2017, stand before every one of you. He said this, a rule of law will not supersede the national interest. And every one of you was there clapping, video Buhari. Instead of to tell him, say, no, without rule of law, you will not be what you are today. That's why we are suffering. I blame you, media. I blame all the lawyers. I blame them, senior advocates, all the judges. They are the cause of what you are passing through today. Imagine there is no fuel, no peace. We cannot challenge Mr. President. And Buhari is traveled out of the country today to Mauritania to go and receive awards. Did you know what is happening? The country are mocking us. They want to push us so that we can talk. As far as we cannot challenge the president, look at what is happening. People have been terrorism. What you let the monarch forget about this man who died yesterday. Is that time Buhari will now remember by Garba Shehu and Mr. Buhari's side over the death of Reverend Father in Nigeria. He's in somewhere now receiving peace awards. He did deserve it between him and his God. You media.
All right. Adeomi, thank you.
Kim.
All right.
You know I've been saying this for long.
Thank you very much. We need to run for the news. Stay with 95.1 Nigeria Info. The talk continues in a bit.
This is Hard Facts. Hard Facts.
On 95.1 Nigeria.
Hello, my name is Kimberly Nwachukwu. I'm the host of Hard Facts, and I bring you
Nothing breaks the news like the news. Trust me, I can prove it. I do it every morning on Morning Crossfire from 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Nigeria Info 95.1, and I'm Femi D. Amede. Join the biggest conversation around national politics every day in a way that is trustworthy, full of passion, and yes, covers the biggest politics and the stories that matter to you. See, you have all the reasons to find out what's going on in Nigeria and be engaged differently. Let's talk. That's the way to go.